You know, it's quite funny to see how wrestling fans react when major news is broken in and around the community from WWE. It's downright fucking laughable how people are so narrow-minded when it comes to all this shit. Now, I understand that we should be watching the product through fans' eyes. At the end of the day, we're fans. But I consider myself more than just a fan. I am a fan. But not only am I a fan, I am also a critic. I am also somebody who's sick and fucking tired of the current WWE product. I am sick and fucking tired of the political bullshit that goes on in and around the WWE. I wish for change. And I call them out on bullshit when I see it. Yesterday, news broke that WWE was moving NXT Takeover New Jersey, NXT Takeover Brooklyn, whatever you want to call it. We don't have an official name for it yet. I'm assuming it's going to be NXT Takeover Brooklyn number 5, being that they are emanating the show from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. WWE announced yesterday that they're moving NXT Takeover Wrestlemania weekend from that Saturday, which was originally supposed to go head-to-head with New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Supercard at Madison Square Garden. They're moving it from Saturday now to Friday, and the Hall of Fame is moving from Friday to Saturday night. I reported on episode 250, part 2, this very weekend on Saturday. A report from Brad Shepard on his podcast entitled the Oh You Didn't Know podcast. Little roll dog there. Brad Shepard's podcast. And he reported that he has sources that he knows personally within WWE. And he asked them if they are worried or, I don't want to use the word afraid, but at this point I'm going to be using the word afraid when talking about the WWE. Are they afraid of what's going to possibly happen with the startup of All Elite Wrestling? Are they concerned at all about whatever Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and the Elite are doing with this new possible promotion starting up in 2019? The answer that he got is, why would we be afraid? What is there to be afraid about? It's downright ridiculous to think that we would be worried about all of those guys. Really now? You're not afraid of what these guys are doing. You're not afraid of the influence that these guys have on the independent scene. You're not worried that these guys have their own political pull in and around the independent scene, who are respected enough for people out there willing to work for them for whatever reason, because that's how well known and respected they are. You're not worried. You're not worried that you have talent in your company right now, contracted, looking to leave and go somewhere else because out of sheer neglect. You're not worried. You're not worried that stocks are down. You're not worried that television is at its worst it's ever been. You're not worried. You're not worried that news broke that a 73-year-old Vince McMahon wrote himself the worst Monday Night Raw in modern history. You're not worried. A show, by the way, that was critically fucking shit on by everybody. You're not worried, though. But is WWE saying that they're not worried? They're signing independent talent left and right to come on into the WWE for the simple fact that they don't want that talent to go anywhere else. But you're not afraid, though. Clearly, WWE's going to say, yeah, we're not afraid, to keep up this big boy, tough guy image. The big boys in the yard, the bullies of the yard. Yeah, we're not afraid. We're going to take your lunch money and we're going to, you know, back to homeroom. But deep down, their actions speak louder than any words they could muster up to a Brad Shepard or anybody in the community that has a pull within WWE or knows sources within WWE. It's all bullshit. It is all bullshit. Their actions are speaking louder than words. Now, with this, WWE moved TakeOver from Saturday to Friday. You want to know what the first thing I thought of when I read this story? There you go again. WWE afraid of other rival promotions. But you know, the one thing that I seen on social media when this news broke was, oh, this is good for the fans. This is good for the fans. Now I could go to G1 on Saturday, and now I can attend TakeOver on Friday. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm happy for you. You get to enjoy two of the best shows all weekend, not named WrestleMania. That's fucking fantastic. That's not the heart of the issue here. I never said anything about it not being great for the fans, but, I mean, you gotta dig deeper to find the root of the fucking problem. Why did they move it? Why did they move it? Now, I can give you my reason as to why they moved it, and it's going to go back on what I just stated. They are afraid. They are afraid. And the funny fucking thing, and this is why I say wrestling fans are the dumbest fucks walking this planet. They are the most ignorant group of individuals I have ever seen. Do you know this? This is one of the stupidest comments I've seen all year pertaining to 2018 wrestling. Pro wrestling in 2018. Listen to this bombshell. Well, WWE moved it so the wrestling fans can experience everything better on WrestleMania weekend. This is a legitimate answer that I got in terms of my response initially to this story. WWE moved it so they did it for the fans. Are you fucking kidding me? You honestly believe a company in which they gave us the worst Monday Night Raw of all time, a company that refuses to listen to its fans on how to fix the main roster product, a company that shits on fans' intelligence every single fucking week, a company that doesn't utilize the talent that we want to see on television, but push their political agenda because it's what they want. You're gonna listen to the WWE, and you're going to use this excuse as to, yeah, WWE moved it because they want the fans to enjoy all of the weekend. They did it for the fans. You have to be the dumbest fucking idiot I think I have ever fucking seen. This company doesn't give a shit about what you say, what I say, what anyone says, except Vince McMahon. The reason why they moved NXT Takeover Brooklyn WrestleMania weekend is because they are fucking afraid of New Japan Pro Wrestling. They are afraid of whatever is going on, this renaissance on the independent wrestling scene. They are afraid. Now, I'm going to let you know right now, my gut, my honest opinion on this is that this did not come from Triple H. If this was a Triple H decision, I would be fucking downright floored, shocked. This came from someone well above Triple H's position. This came from Vince McMahon. This came from Vince McMahon. Because what I'm seeing from this is not only that they're afraid, but they don't have the fucking, the confidence in themselves to put on a product against New Japan Pro Wrestling and think that they could come out beating another rival promotion on that same night. If this was Triple H, he would go head-to-head with New Japan Pro Wrestling. He doesn't give a shit, and I still, at the end of the day, don't even know why this was done. Why was this move done? It's fucking stupid. Because the way I see it, you're hurting everybody else not independent, like a Ring of Honor and a New Japan. Well, New Japan really not independent, but you're hurting all the little guys. Because everybody else that had a show planned on Friday night, now the main thing on Friday night is TakeOver. Whereas on Friday, the main thing in and around the city was these smaller shows like Progress and Evolve, House of Glory, Impact Wrestling, which I'll touch on in a second. This came from Vince. This directly came from Vince. And I don't know why this was moved. New Japan was sold out already for months. That show has been sold out since the summer. What is the difference if it's on Saturday or Friday night? It would have made no difference if it stayed on Saturday night. No, but they did it for the fans, though. Fucking idiot, they did it for the fans. No, they didn't. They did it because they're fucking scared. They did it because they're afraid. They did it because they lack the confidence in their own ability with a fucking company right now that is trending down in every aspect as far as quality of television goes. Outside of NXT, which is why I'm shocked. Afraid. They are afraid of New Japan. They're afraid of Ring of Honor. That show is sold out. People that weekend have no other alternative on Saturday night. NXT Takeover tickets aren't on sale yet. So the only show in town is NXT Takeover. Nobody's going to be worried about New Japan. That show is done. It's gone. It's sold out. 19,000 seats. Sold out in 15 minutes. There's going to be more than 19,000 fucking wrestling fans in the city that weekend. Where else do you think people are going to go? All you needed to do was give me the best takeover show in the history of takeover. And you know what? People will come. You're worried about 14,000 seats in the Barclays Center selling out for takeover? Meanwhile, New Japan is already sold out. This is mind-boggling to me. Absolutely mind-boggling to me. It makes no sense. Now the report, they moved takeover. Dave Meltzer commented on the Wrestling Observer Radio that unless WWE, this is another great point. And this, if it doesn't happen, will expose WWE for everything that I just mentioned here. Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer mentioned that unless the WWE has The Rock lined up for a WWE Hall of Fame induction, and he's only available on April 6th next year, then WWE might not have had any other reason except to try to save face by not competing with an already sold-out show in Madison Square Garden. He says, and I quote, "Right now, the two things are, if they have The Rock going into the Hall of Fame, okay. If that's the idea, that they have The Rock coming into the Hall of Fame and he's only available on Saturday, then it's worth making the move. If it's anything else, then they don't want a story to come out that they are going up against New Japan Pro Wrestling on the same night, and WWE got outdrawn by New Japan Pro Wrestling, sold out at Madison Square Garden. WWE doesn't want that story, so they backed off. It's not a matter of being nice to the wrestling fans by any means. They might have sold out, but they didn't, but they don't know that. I'm sure they would have sold out TakeOver in the Barclays Center. I don't even have a doubt, but they may not know that, and let's say they're wrong because a lot of takeovers don't sell out, but it's WrestleMania, and WrestleMania will easily sell out. I'd even think with 15,000 people, they could sell out the Barclays Center because of Madison Square Garden being sold out already. Meltzer continued to say that he doesn't know if WWE has The Rock lined up for a Hall of Fame induction. I have no idea, he says. But booking the Rock for the Hall of Fame would be big enough or a big enough reason to move the Hall of Fame ceremony. Only time will tell if all the chips fall where they may during WrestleMania weekend. For that matter, we might have a much better picture of what the Elite is going to be doing with their possible wrestling promotion as well. But for whatever reason, WWE made the decision to move NXT TakeOver New York, Brooklyn, whatever they're going to call it. And plenty of fans who were forced to make a decision between G1 Supercard and TakeOver now have a much easier time because they can go to both shows. WWE indirectly did this, and it benefits the fans. WWE doesn't give a shit about the fans. They didn't move it with the sole reason of, yeah, let's give the fans TakeOver and they could go to New Japan. Whoever is saying that that's not even the issue here. You're speaking from what you solely say. That's the simple way of looking at it. Well, now I could go to both shows. Yeah, great. But the issue at hand is why WWE moved this event. They moved it because they're afraid. They moved it because they don't want to be stepped on their own weekend. They don't want to be outdrawn by New Japan Pro Wrestling. They don't want to sit there on Saturday night with that show being sold out and then have TakeOver happen that same night and then not be sold out. That would be such an ego blow to everybody in WWE. And we can't have that. We can't have that. We can't have our fun as wrestling fans. We can't do what we love, what we want. WWE has to control every aspect of everything that they do, and it's fucking sickening. But it's TakeOver. It's WrestleMania weekend. Why don't they have the confidence in that product right now, which is at its best it's ever been? They don't have the confidence in that show to sell out during that weekend. They are afraid. I find it so funny how everybody says, well, we don't care about what other people are doing, yet you're signing every independent talent known to man. You can't even use the fucking talent you have now. What is the purpose of bringing in other talent that you have no desire in just to keep them away from everybody else? That signals red flags. Yeah, you're not afraid. I see it otherwise. You are definitely afraid. You're getting your shit pushed in and you can't fucking stand it. So you know what you do? Instead of going out there and signing everybody else just to keep them away from other promotions, you know what you should do? Get better. Get better at booking a better show. Get the fucking pen away from Vince McMahon. Get this fucking senile fuck away from the show. Get better. Give me what we want. Give me what we deserve as fucking fans. Vince is giving himself what he wants with the quality of these shows. He's not giving the fans what they want. We all know they can do better, and this is where the frustration comes from. We know they can do better because they've done it before. How do you book TakeOver? How do you book NXT to be so great the majority of the weeks, with a few off weeks here and there? I'm not saying NXT is perfect, but how do you have that company operate under a WWE logo and you can't even come close to what they do on the main roster? It's bizarre. It is so fucking. I have no explanation for it. And this is why I argue with people. This is why people don't understand. It's the same fucking company. You've had people who wrestle for you on the main roster, down there, training, molding, teaching. And you can't give me the same fucking product that we're getting in NXT on the main roster? Everybody would be fucking happy. And then you can make your money. You could make your money with your stocks. You could get TV deals. I'm sure everybody would look at you with a little bit more respect. Instead, they're fucking loathing you. They're looking at you with fucking middle fingers raised in the air. Fuck this company. They're not giving me what I want. They're not giving me the fucking promotion that I want. They're not giving me anything that I am interested in. I have no investment in anything that this company's doing right now. Why? Why? You need to look yourself in the fucking mirror. They are afraid. Every single one of them is shaking in their fucking boots right now. They're not going to admit it because they need to have a good face for the shareholders and the stockholders. They're not going to come outwardly and say, yeah, we're afraid of other rival promotions. What kind of confidence is that going to be for everybody that owns shares and stocks in this company? Not going to be good. WWE is reportedly flagrantly also tampering with talent already under contract. You believe that? This was also reported this weekend by Dave Meltzer. Ring of Honor has signed PCO, 50-year-old PCO, and Brody King this past weekend to contracts. And Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio, they would have rather kept those signings a secret so they could debut them as a surprise later on. But WWE is apparently still going after as many people as they can, so that no other big surprise signings end up in the hands of the competition. But they're not afraid. They're not afraid. What the fuck do they need with a PCO? Really? What do they need with a PCO? Here's the thing, he says, and I quote, WWE is signing people left and right. I've heard that they've come heavily after guys from, I know, promoters and people like that who are like they are flagrantly tampering with everybody's guys. I don't know what people are telling me, but that's what they're telling me. They're trying to sign everyone because they don't want this door to open. The last thing they want is competition. People are like, oh, Vince is really excited about the competition. It's like, You don't know Vince at all. You've never followed Vince McMahon if you think that, end quote. It will be a very interesting situation as more contracts come up for negotiations down the line because WWE reportedly has their toes in many different waters that they might not need to be stepping in quite yet. It is illegal to talk to someone who is under contract, and WWE realizes this fact, but possibly they consider the fact that they're the biggest company in town with the most attorneys, and that might play to their advantage. Only time will tell if Ring of Honor or All Elite Wrestling become threats to WWE at this point. Seems like Impact Wrestling and WWE have been able to find some kind of agreement recently, which is very interesting as well, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But Impact Wrestling might not feel the same about WWE. So obviously, as this story continues to develop, I will let you guys know what is going on with all of this. At the end of the day, folks, why did WWE move WrestleMania weekend, Takeover WrestleMania weekend, to Friday instead of keeping it on Saturday? They are afraid. They are absolutely afraid. They're afraid of getting their shit pushed in. They're afraid of being stood up by another rival promotion. And to them, on their weekend, on their biggest weekend of the entire year, they will not allow that to happen. And if anybody tells you otherwise, just turn the other way and don't even fucking listen to them. If people are telling you, well, they did it for the fans, look at them and look in their eyes and tell them that they're a bunch of fucking idiots if you honestly believe that the company who shits on you every fucking Monday and Tuesday legitimately gives a shit about what you feel and what you want to do WrestleMania weekend during their weekend. Give me a fucking break. I got more news this weekend about what WWE said as far as the differences between the main roster and NXT. Xavier Woods actually called fans entitled infants in an online interview. And we're going to go over all that as well. Plus, I got major WWE TLC coverage right here on the podcast. Don't go anywhere. This is episode 250, part number 3 of Off the Script. WWE is afraid, and they will never admit that. Off this shitty fucking product by coming on here and speaking the fucking goddamn truth about this fucking filth.
And I can book a better show taking a fucking dump after eating my fucking Chipotle chorizo with extra cheese.
I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. Have I ever? Of course not.
WWE is great, man. Fuck you, Japan, and anyway, Okada. Delete. What is it, Vince? Can I suck your dick? What is it, Vince?
And this is the #1 fucking podcast.
Right here on YouTube.com. This
is Off the Script. How many of you guys actually missed out on the original Team JD Bullet Club inspired design that I sold many months ago? How many of you guys actually missed out on the very limited edition gold foil Team JD shirt that was available many months ago? I know there are a few floating around. In fact, some people I still get on Twitter tweeting me pictures of them wearing it. But this holiday season, I wanted to do something for you guys that was pretty much the same thing, but slightly different. I have partnered with Bonfire.com, and I'm bringing you a new JD Club t-shirt available in 5 different colors. Black, obviously, because I love black. Everybody loves the color black. In fact, it's my favorite color. Gunmetal gray, blue, pink for the ladies, and red. You have 5 different colors right now. Campaign is available for 7 days only. If you guys want to support the podcast, if you guys want something for the holiday season, guaranteed to get to you before Christmas arrives, If you guys want something that is extremely rare and limited and only going to be sold this holiday season for the foreseeable future, then this is the shirt for you. I would love if everybody got on board and got themselves a JD Club design. Obviously, I love that design. This was actually designed by my boy Blinded Fate. I love what he did here with the New York City background, the 2 beer bottles, and obviously the JD Club writing right there with New York. The state design right there next to the lettering. I love it. If you guys want to support the podcast, if you guys want to support what I do here on Off the Script and what I do on the channel on a daily, weekly basis, this is the shirt for you, man. We got to sell 50 of these motherfuckers. Let's sell 50. In fact, let's double that. Let's do 100. You guys got 7 days. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. If you guys want to be part of a special small group for a very, very limited time only, go and get this design, man. 7 days. I'm going to leave you the link and everything you need right down in the comment section of this very video, man. If you guys are listening to me on iTunes, go to the YouTube video, JD from NY206 on YouTube. Look at the very first comment you're going to see down in the comment section. That is where the link is going to be. Let's blow this shit out of the water, man. So please go and get your JD Club designs right here on bonfire.com. This is much better quality than Teespring, by the way, where the other campaigns were happening. Much better quality as far as t-shirts go. So you guys, you know you're getting a much better product here than Teespring. So it's bonfire.com. Link is down in the comment section of this very video. Thank you guys so very much for all that. This is Off the Script, episode 250, part number 3 for your Sunday. It is December 2nd. 2018. I am, of course, JD. We went over that big story. I couldn't wait to just dive into that, man. There's no other explanation. There's no other reasoning. There's no other way around it. They didn't do it for the fans. WWE does not have the fans in mind. They are afraid. They are downright desperate right now, and WWE is running scared. I don't give a fuck how much money they're making. I don't give a shit how much money the company is worth. They know that they are not giving the fans what they want and what they need as far as a wrestling promotion. This is WWE being ignorant. This is WWE not listening to the audience. This is WWE not following the winds that are constantly changing in the independent scene. Vince McMahon is a senile old fuck. If Monday Night Raw and the story about Monday Night Raw being written solely by Vince McMahon is absolutely 100% true, after all the backlash that we've seen, I swear upon everything that is fucking holy on this planet, that someone within WWE, someone within Vince's family, sits him down and takes the pen from his hand and gives creative control or portion of it to Triple H or someone in that company that knows what the fuck they're doing. Things need to change. Vince can no longer write for WWE. I'm not saying Vince can't have majority control. I'm not saying Vince can't oversee the biggest aspects of business. Vince needs to get away from the creative side of things in WWE. Have him monitor the biggest things in the company and oversee operations in and around the company. Sign the fucking paychecks. Make sure everybody gets paid on time and what they're guaranteed. Get Vince away from the WWE and have him concentrate on the XFL. This is the only way things are going to get better. People have been saying it for fucking years, and it needs to happen. Don't listen to anybody outside of the fact that they move takeovers because they're desperate and they're afraid. There's no other way to look at it. It's good for you. You can go to G1 and then you could go to Takeover on Friday night. But what I failed to mention in the opening is House of Glory is having a Culture Clash 2018 WrestleMania weekend. We were slated for Friday. That weekend, WrestleMania weekend, Impact Wrestling, other promotions around the world, Destiny from Canada. There was rumors of Lucha Underground getting involved. Impact Wrestling's going to be there. We're going to have access to all those wrestlers and all those rosters in one huge show Friday night. Now, when we planned this thing, we planned it around what was scheduled and what we were pretty sure was going to be the thing until WWE exposed themselves and moved TakeOver to Friday night. Moving TakeOver to Friday night is harming all the little guys. All the little guys that don't have a financial backer. All the little guys who are doing it for the love and the passion that we have for this business. All the little guys that want to be a part of this huge weekend, just to be fortunate enough to be a part of this weekend and create our own history. Now we can't do that. It's going to be a much bigger uphill battle for us to do that. Because honestly, I am fucking excited for the future of independent wrestling and being a part of my House of Glory family. I am excited for what they have going on. But I would be bullshitting you. What, you don't think it hurts my wallet too? I would be bullshitting you if I told you, yeah, I would rather go to an independent show instead of TakeOver. I'm working House of Glory. I look forward to every single fucking show that I got to do for them. More and more every time I do it. But if I'm deciding upon myself, if I'm a fan, if I'm not doing commentary for House of Glory, what am I going to go to? Am I going to go to a Culture Clash with Impact Wrestling, Lucha Underground, Destiny, House of Glory on Friday night? Or am I going to be able to attempt to get tickets to TakeOver? If I have tickets to TakeOver, what am I going to do? Or if I have the opportunity to get tickets to TakeOver, which show am I going to go to? I'm going to go to fucking TakeOver. I'm going to go to possibly the best TakeOver show that Triple H has ever put together and produced. Nobody's going to go to a small independent show with TakeOver being the main event. Now, the only way around this is if all these shows feed off of TakeOver happening at 7 p.m. Like, we would have to do noon, 1, 2 o'clock the latest on Friday night just to maximize everything. It sucks for the small guy. And it's money out of my pocket, too. Because if it doesn't happen earlier in the day, or if we don't move back to Saturday like we usually do for these shows, then it's money out of my pocket because I won't be home to cover TakeOver. I won't be able to get a review up on time when YouTube, you maximize your views within the first 24 hours. And then they slowly decrease over the next 24. I'm losing out on a big payday. TakeOver WrestleMania weekend. So it's not only hurting the small guy, it's hurting the content creators too, who have things that they want to do that weekend. WrestleCon and Access and meet and greets and all this other shit. Right? Everybody's going to be in town. So if I'm doing anything, I'm moving back to Saturday night. I would rather compete against a sold out MSG show because that show's already sold out. There's no other place for people to go. There's no other place for people to go on Saturday night. It's either independent shows or nothing. Or the Hall of Fame. And who gives a fuck about the Hall of Fame that WWE puts on every year? It's a fucking joke. It's a joke. People leave after an hour and a half, long-winded speeches by people we don't give a shit about. Yeah, we're happy for them, but nobody wants to sit there and listen to fucking Hillbilly Jim cut a 1-hour fucking speech. I'd rather be doing something somewhere else. So if I'm an independent show, one of the small guys that's gotten fucked over by this decision, I'm moving the show back to Saturday night because I'd rather compete against a New Japan show that's sold out because there's no other option for anybody to do. You're not going to compete against TakeOver because the show's not even on sale yet. Those tickets aren't even available yet. You're giving the people the option. Am I going to go to TakeOver? Or am I going to go to a House of Glory show? Or a Progress show? Or an Evolve show? It's fucked over everybody. Because of WWE's desperation. Because of WWE's cowardism. They don't have the confidence to compete against a New Japan Pro Wrestling. Shame on you. Shame on you. This is Triple H not making a decision. This is not his call. This came from someone above. 100%. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's a big deal. It is a huge deal. WWE wants to own the whole weekend. Friday TakeOver, Saturday Hall of Fame, Sunday WrestleMania. I don't know, man. I just wish people were smarter. I wish people were a little bit more open to what's really going on. It bothers the shit out of me that people are so fucking stupid. They did it for the fans. No, they didn't do it for the fucking fans. Get the fuck out of here. They did it for the fans. Fuck out of here. If they do it for the fans every week, Monday Night Raw would actually be fucking watchable. Instead of insufferable fucking garbage. Anyway, episode 250, part number 3 for your Sunday, man. Thank you guys so very much. If you missed anything on Friday and Saturday, please go and check the annotation that you see in the top right corner of the screen. We talk about a bunch of shit this weekend, so please go and check all that stuff out. CM Punk saying that he would listen to offers from All Elite Wrestling to come on in, what I think about that. Also, Ronda Rousey, sought after by Fox Sports for SmackDown Live in October 2019. My thoughts on that as well. That's Friday, and then the CM Punk story is on Saturday. Go check that stuff out. Link in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of your screen. Harry's is the official sponsor of this show, man. Harry's.com/script. Make sure you guys go out and get your free trial shave sets. You got 3 different colors there, blue, orange, and the evergreen. You guys do have an option to choose whatever color you want. And you're going to get a generous 2-ounce bottle of their foaming shave gel, which soothes, hydrates, and it smells fantastic. You guys are going to get a blade, a handle, the shave gel, and you're going to get a protective blade case as well for free. It's a $15 value for free. All you guys have to do is pay the shipping and handling, man. They have over 600 scientists, chemists, engineers to give you the best blade on the market, man, using only high-grade ingredients and materials. Harrys.com/script. I've been using it all year. I would use nothing else. I never put my name to anything I don't use or don't believe in. Harry's is the epitome of that statement. Harry's is used every single week by yours truly, so I want you guys to feel the same shave that I do every single week, man. Harrys.com/script. If you guys use our URL, our unique URL for Off the Script listeners only, you guys are eligible not only for the free trial, but $5 off the holiday gift set. 2 versions, a $25 and a $35 gift set. You guys are eligible for $5 off using our link, harrys.com/script. Audible is also another sponsor of the show, man. audibletrial.com/offthescript. These guys are giving you 30 days free. That's 1 month free of their service, and that includes 1 free audiobook of your choice, a lot of which are wrestling related, man. I would like to end the month and the year on a high note. So if you guys have not signed up, if you are new and you have not signed up, please do so, man. You're getting something for free for doing absolutely nothing. Seconds of your time to just go on audibletrial.com/offthescript and sign up. 30 days free, 1 free audiobook, and here's the best part, man. You guys, if you don't like the service, you guys can cancel within the 30 days and still keep your audiobook no matter what for free. Compatible with iPhone and Android devices. All you got to do is download the app on your phone or mobile device, your iPad, your tablet, whatever you guys are using right now. But you guys are getting something for free for doing absolutely nothing, man. audibletrial.com/offthescript, and you have over 200,000 choices and a ton of genres to choose from. So make sure you guys go out and do that as well. I wanted to shout out everybody that bought a t-shirt in November, but my barbershop window account is not working at the moment, so I will save that for when it's up and running, man. Barbershopwindow.com is your official home of the Off the Script online store. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Code, the new code is BSHOP10. They reduced it after the Black Friday sale. I was just notified of this, so it's BSHOP10. BSHOP10 for 10% off your first purchase. You guys got 18 designs on there, and they are the best looking podcast designs in the community, bar none, man. This is not done by some cheap Microsoft Paint app. These are not shirts that are designed in 30 seconds like some of these fucking other content creators here who are completely unimaginative and uncreative and lazy. These are legit fucking designs designed by artists, graphic designers, people who do this for a living. This is barbershopwindow.com off the script, and this is the home of the best looking t-shirts in the podcast game. Go and get yours today for the holiday season to ensure delivery before Christmas. Code BSHOP10 for 10% off your entire purchase. And who doesn't want to wear that 100,000 subscriber commemorative design right there, man? Available only on Barbershop Window. Let's hit the news, man. Let's hit the news. I got news on Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods says WWE fans come off as entitled infants. Xavier Woods has been a part of pro wrestling and the pro wrestling business long enough to realize how much pull the fans actually do have. Maybe not so much now, but they are the heartbeat of what drives this business. However, it's hard to understand what they're complaining about sometimes. Now, it's not that difficult to understand what we're complaining about recently. As of late, it's not that difficult. The product is fucking garbage. If nobody sees this, then you are a complete fucking dumb idiot. I'm sorry. This is why I ranted on part one. The bad Monday Night Raw that was on Monday was a great way to expose all within the community. Where the fuck were you people 8 months ago when these shows were just as bad as they are now? What made them good then compared to what they're doing now? Nothing. You are exposed. And I understand everybody's got a business to run and they want to shed some positivity, but you're lying to your audience and you're a fraud. You're an absolute fraud. If this is the Raw that broke you now, you're a lame. You are a fucking hypocrite. You're lazy. You're lying to your audience. And I don't know how else to put it. This is not the Raw that broke you. It couldn't have been. There were Raws worse than this shit. This is just the one that everybody critically panned, so it looked like it was much worse than it really was. It was bad, don't get me wrong. There was nothing positive out of that show. But the fact that everybody, it was like a one big, huge, no way Jose conga line of hate. That's all it was. Now, after all, everyone in the ring seems to be wrestling with the same goal in mind, and that is to entertain them. I am not taking anything away from anybody in ring. I'm not. You know, it's obviously a much less inferior product than NXT. The NXT way and the NXT in-ring style and the NXT in-ring work is much better than the main roster. But I'm not taking anything away from what the guys and the women do on the main roster. They're going out there and they're risking their bodies, they're risking their lives, and I understand that wholeheartedly. I have no issue in that. I understand that they might be wrestling against, you know, they might be wrestling a different style. They might be wrestling with a ball and chain, you know, cuffed to their leg. They might be handcuffed and doing certain things in which, you know, prohibit them from telling the real story that they want to tell. They might be working against a certain time limit. You know, they definitely could put on a much better match in 15 minutes instead of 6 or 7 minutes that they're allotted. I understand that. I understand that they have to make it pretty for TV and they have to come off as a TV show. I understand all of that. But that's not the issue here. The issue is not the in-ring work. It never was meant to be about the in-ring work. I know, on any given week, guys like the New Day and the Usos, who I have absolutely nothing but praised the New Day and the Usos. How many times have I stated that when the New Day goes out there, meaning all business, that it's very difficult to find a tag team within WWE that shows up to work as hard as the New Day. The Usos are the best tag team on the main roster in WWE. Guys like Seth Rollins, we know what Seth Rollins is capable of. Guys like Finn Balor, we know what Finn Balor is capable of. Drew McIntyre, right? Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Andrade Cien Almas, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe. Guys like that. We all know what these guys are capable of. That's not the issue. The issue is not the in-ring work. Now, while in the Philippines, yes, the Philippines is halfway across the globe, Woods spoke to the Manila Bulletin about the frustration he feels when pro wrestling fans complain about a pay-per-view like Survivor Series when saying it didn't match up to NXT TakeOver War Games. It didn't. It didn't. This is not that difficult to grasp. Now, I don't know why people complained about the Survivor Series outside of the fact that Raw won 6-0, and then after the fact, we complained about it even more so because WWE didn't make sense of the storyline. They never continued anything. SmackDown lost 6-0, and Shane McMahon and Paige made no issue about being swept, quote unquote. We all know it was 6-1, but swept on the main show. Nothing was told, nothing was shown as far as frustration goes. It was all just, we'll get him next year, which we all pretty much gave our opinion on, saying, well, if WWE doesn't care about it this year and they want to do the same concept next year, why am I supposed to care if it means nothing? If it means nothing to Shane McMahon and Paige, then why am I going to have it mean something to me? And how are you going to develop frustration being removed from the Survivor Series now? The frustration in the storyline should have been told that Tuesday after Survivor Series. If you're going to tell me that they're frustrated now after the fact, 2 months later, when we're getting into the Royal Rumble season, I don't want to hear it. At that point, it's going to be nothing but manufactured, unnatural garbage. There is a difference. There is a obvious difference in TakeOver and the main roster shows. If guys like Xavier Woods can't figure that out, then the only thing is, and Xavier Woods is a smart guy. Xavier Woods is a very intelligent human being. But when he says shit like this, it makes me ponder. All you need to do is watch the show. So all I'm respectfully going to say here is that Xavier Woods is not watching NXT. He didn't watch NXT Takeover War Games. There is a clear difference between what happened at War Games and what happened at the Survivor Series. He says, and I quote, when people talk about the differences between the organizations, not even organizations between NXT and the main roster. So when they're like, oh man, TakeOver killed it. SummerSlam, this is gonna suck. It's on the same company. What is there to complain about? You just got an awesome wrestling show on Saturday night. You just had an awesome wrestling show on Sunday night. Then you're gonna watch Raw on Monday and SmackDown on Tuesday and then NXT. What are you complaining about, he says. And then, you can go watch New Japan. You could go watch AAA. You can watch so much wrestling from all corners of the world. And it's all awesome and it's all good. It's all different guys and girls portraying their form of art that they love, that they're going to want to give to you. So anytime anyone complains about wrestling, it's so annoying to me because people come off as these entitled infants. Because in reality, wrestling hurts so bad. And then we're hurting ourselves to entertain the masses, and sometimes the masses want to tell you how much it sucks. End quote. I'm speechless. I am absolutely fucking speechless. He made an issue about something that was never the issue. He answered this person's question in the completely wrong, misinterpreted way. There is an obvious difference. Fans are complaining not about the in-ring work. Fans are complaining that they're having their intelligence insulted. Fans are complaining that the shows are fucking written terribly. When Xavier Woods says, what are you complaining about? I don't know if he really gives a shit about what's going on Raw and SmackDown. There is a ton to complain about. Shit don't make sense. Coming out of this guy has the fucking balls to complain. What are you complaining about when you are the advocate and you are the face of the 6-1 from Survivor Series? What are you complaining about? If it's anything, you're the one complaining. You're the one complaining about the own company that you work for. Clearly you went on social media with some type of agenda. Clearly you went on social media butthurt that whatever you guys did on the pre-show didn't count. Yet you want to tell fans that they're complaining when you're complaining about the same things the fans are complaining about. It doesn't make sense. We are treated like fucking infants. We are treated like infants. We're not acting like entitled infants. We are treated like fucking infants. As are you. The creative fucking sucks. What is there to complain about? Why hasn't Andrade Almas been on TV? Why was he in Philadelphia giving me one of the best matches I ever witnessed against Johnny Gargano? Called up and wasted away on a show that needs new talent to prosper. Why? Why is Monday Night Raw some of the worst shows in the history of that fucking program? Why? Why are they giving me some of the worst programs that they've ever put on the USA Network in 25 years? Why? Yet there's nothing to complain about. I think Xavier Woods lost his fucking mind. There's a ton to complain about. We're not coming off as entitled. We just don't want our intelligence insulted. It's going to be very hard for Woods, Biggie, and Kofi to leave it all out in the ring and not get the credit that they deserve. This is made even worse if they wrestle in a kickoff show match that WWE ignores the result of. I don't understand. You're in a public setting. You're in a public business. You're a public figure. Just like I am. You don't think I get ridiculed every fucking day? Every week? I come on here? Oh, JD's a hypocrite. Oh, JD is contradicting himself. Blah, 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 blah. JD hates women. JD's a racist. JD's a sexist. Blah, 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 blah. Why does JD hate Dana Brooke? Why does he hate Nia Jax? Why is he such a Becky mark? What is there to complain about? Look at the status and the happenings right now on the main roster. What is there to be excited about? If you guys did not have Becky Lynch, there would be zero to find on the main roster in any form of interest. Nothing would be interesting on the main roster. Becky Lynch is single-handedly carrying main roster intrigue and investment from the fans on her back. NXT, it's self-explanatory. There's a major difference in NXT and the main roster. And it's not about the in-ring work. We know you guys can work. We know everybody else on the main roster can work. It's about how they're portrayed and how the creative is written. It comes off as lazy, and it comes off as if you don't care. And then you want to call us entitled infants for complaining? We are complaining for all the right reasons. We're complaining for the same reasons you complained. Mr. 6-1. As far as I'm concerned, Xavier Woods is the fucking hypocrite. Fuck out of here. Now, I know this is his job. I know this is his job to make the company look good and come off as if there's nothing wrong, to bring WWE in a good light. But we all know he's fucking full of shit. If anybody believes anything Xavier Woods said here, you are a fucking idiot. Grade A fucking idiot. Go down the idiot aisle and fucking, in Target or Walmart. You'll be the first fucking thing on a nice big display right in the center of the aisle. Idiot for sale this holiday season. Stupid. Entitled infants. Fuck out of here, man. I never heard such stupidity in my entire life, just stemming from this one show alone. Between this and his comments, and then the people who think WWE moved TakeOver to Friday for the fans. Oh my God, man. You guys are fucking retarded. Anyway, moving on here, man. Possible spoiler for WWE TLC and the future of Raw, with WWE planning a major shakeup. WWE's Raw was so bad this week that it actually caused someone to alter the Milwaukee Wikipedia page because it hosted the event. But it was all Vince McMahon running things behind the scenes. Take the pen away, fucking break that shit in half, throw it away, and get this guy. Get a wheelchair, get a gurney, whatever, take this guy, to put him in the fucking insane asylum. Because if that was Vince McMahon's doing, my God, man, the guy is fucking done. The guy is done. Mike Johnson commented on PW Insider Elite Audio that one of the biggest reasons why Raw didn't seem to go anywhere this week was because WWE wasn't sure about what was going on with Braun Strowman. We commented about this on the podcast this weekend. If you believe that story, because Raw was so bad because Braun Strowman wasn't there. Raw was bad when Braun Strowman was healthy and was there. Raw was bad when Roman was there. Who are you fooling with this? It's been bad every week this year, outside 1 or 2 weeks. So, don't give me this bullshit. The Raw was bad because Braun Strowman's status is up in the air. Whose fucking fault is that? Whose fault is that? So what you do is you go back to the drawing board and you give me a plan B. Did NXT suffer when Aleister Black, the challenger in the world championship scene against Tommaso Ciampa, when he went out with an injury, or with a groin injury, did WWE curl up into a ball and write some of the worst television for NXT in the history of that program? No, of course not. They turned it around and turned the negative into a positive. They gave us one of the most intriguing storylines in all of the company in 2018. That's what I expect from you. Apparently, that's asking too much. And what happened? Look at the matches we got out of it. Look at the storyline that is yet to come out of that injury. It all worked out in the end, didn't it? No, but you're blaming Monday Night Raw's woes on Braun Strowman being injured. You're a fucking idiot. Absolutely a fucking stupid statement to make. Mike Johnson says, and I quote, "That was a Vince McMahon show, and you know it was a placeholder show. Probably because they're waiting to see what's up with Braun, and they can't make any decisions on their direction until they figure out what's up with him. He's out. Clearly, you're going to listen to Dr. James Andrews. As soon as that injury was taken care of, you got a diagnosis as how long he's going to be out. So you get that within days of him being repaired, and you're going to book accordingly. He's out. So he should not be at TLC. But WWE proceeded to book him through TLC anyway. So whose fault is that? They're waiting to see what's happening with Braun Strowman, but yeah, we'll put him on TV, and we'll book him in a match with Baron Corbin in 3 weeks, even though he's just gotten surgery, so we don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to have him get surgery anyway, and we're going to continue to book him in a match, a TLC match, mind you, with Baron Corbin. And then this is Xavier Woods. This is Xavier Woods coming out. What is there to complain about? So it looks like WWE isn't sure about what's going on at this point, or at least on Monday. Braun is out of surgery, so hopefully there's good news. But people have been told that they could change up TLC plans in a big way anyway. Braun Strowman is out of action, and it looks like the doctors got into his arm and found something that will keep him out past the TLC pay-per-view. This could very well mean that he won't be cleared to do anything. Now, WrestleVotes, the good old Twitter account WrestleVotes, reported that their sources have said that Braun Strowman may be out until after the TLC pay-per-view. Therefore, WWE's planning a big mix-up where they will go with a multi-man contest like they did in 2012. The 2012 TLC featured The Shield versus Ryback and Team Hell No in a TLC match. This might be what WrestleVotes is talking about, although not all of those players would be available for various reasons. This is a very interesting option and makes us wonder how Baron Corbin and Alexa Bliss's roles might play out as co-authority figures on Raw. WWE's Raw brand is going through a bit of a transitional phase right now, and it appears that the upcoming TLC pay-per-view on December 16th might only be a stop on the road to even more stories down the line. With no real promise of closure for the San Jose crowd, it will be interesting to see how well WWE sells out the venue. But there are a few key matches scheduled, including one that might not even be able to take place due to injury. Baron Corbin is scheduled to take on Braun Strowman in a TLC match where Braun, if he wins, gets Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, and Baron Corbin will be out of a job. Meanwhile, if Braun Strowman won the Survivor Series, he would get what he wants, he would get Corbin, and he would get Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. They didn't mention the Royal Rumble when Stephanie McMahon promised that to Braun Strowman, but she said, I will give you your match against Brock Lesnar. And then Xavier Woods comes out and says, what is there to complain about? So clearly whatever happened at the Survivor Series didn't fucking happen. But what is there to complain about, Mr. Woods? So, Corbett is scheduled to take on Strowman. Strowman then suffered a post-match beatdown, left him bloodied, required surgery, written into the story, but it was a real injury, so he could get bone spurs removed from his elbow. Depending on the recovery time, Braun might not be able to work TLC. At this point, they're booking him away from TLC. It's over. Mike Johnson of PW Insider Elite Audio mentioned that there could be a chance that Strowman can get involved in some way and win the match, which would help out his team, and it would be interesting to say the least. He says, and I quote, they could do a situation where Braun comes back and it's completely one-sided and pins Corbin. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. He could very easily do that. And I've heard that if he does do that, then Alexa Bliss is going to be kind of talked about as being slotted into the GM role, mainly as a leader of Monday Night Raw. Who knows? Things could always change. She could be cleared to return to the ring, but we did see that she was given the chance, and she was the leader of the women's division on Raw to oversee that entire division, so that could be a step in a larger world for Alexa Bliss, end quote. Only time will tell what happens next for Bliss. But it seems like there aren't a lot of options if she can't wrestle and can't really manage, because managers need to be able to take bumps as well, unless it's a very rare exception. But the fact that Baron Corbin seemed to test Bliss out in a role like that could mean that WWE has plans for Braun Strowman at least to show up at TLC and squash Baron, which could do the Lone Wolf no favors at all unless he gets his heat back in some way, but it could mean the start of a new role for Bliss until she's eventually cleared to return. WWE has one option here. Well, actually, two options. They got one of two options here. One, they could actually go ahead and book Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre there. And they could book them against Elias, Finn Balor, and make it a handicap match, and they could do the big return. Or they could book Braun Strowman in and have Braun Strowman there, take him out early in the match like they did with that one match where Angle was an honorary member of the Shield. Didn't they throw Strowman into a garbage truck? And he was out most of that fucking match and came back during the ending and just obliterated everybody. They could do something like that. They could book those three guys, Strowman there, do something similar to that, take him out of the entire match, and then he comes back and hits somebody with a fucking ladder or something, and then boom, over and done with. They could do that. they could bring back a surprise appearance. They could do Corbin, Lashley, and McIntyre versus Balor, Elias, and Bray Wyatt. That's the other option that WWE has. Bray Wyatt is able to work, but WWE hasn't called upon him to appear on television yet. He was backstage at Raw this week. He was at Starrcade, where he actually gave Baron Corbin a Sister Abigail and pinned him. At this point, Bray is able to work. But, however, that might change on December 16th. He hasn't been on Raw. That might change on December 16th if they need someone to help out. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that a possible option to replace Braun Strowman could very well be the man who led Braun's first WWE stable, Bray Wyatt. It was noted that perhaps the angle they ran at Starrcade between Corbin and Wyatt could play out at TLC. Only time will tell if Bray comes back or how exciting it might be if WWE waits for the perfect moment to kill the lights and bring out all the fireflies. But WWE TLC would be a fine moment to start his return process. So let's see what happens with that. Now, the bigger question is, if they bring Bray Wyatt back for that, is he merely going to be a replacement, or do they have plans involved for Bray Wyatt? Do they have plans after this for Bray Wyatt? Or if he's just being slotted into a replacement spot and going to go right back to being irrelevant like he was before he went on hiatus. So I'm not really sure, in the end, if this is the ideal spot for Bray Wyatt. But even after all that, everything I just mentioned is a complete waste of time, and WWE is going with none of that. WWE is going with none of that. Even though if I got you excited about it, I trolled you. WWE has already slotted the TLC card. So it looks like whatever they got going on right now is exactly what's going on. There'll be some sort of issue with Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman at the show. The current TLC card is as follows. Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte versus Asuka for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. That's a TLC match. That is the main event. I don't want to hear anybody else. That is the main event and should be the last match on the show. Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. The new Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. The Bar versus the New Day versus the Usos in a SmackDown Live Triple Threat Tag Team title match. Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre. And Elias versus Bobby Lashley has been added to the show. I don't know why. I don't know why or who thought of that, but Balor versus McIntyre could be an excellent match if they are given the leeway to do what they need to do. Elias versus Bobby Lashley, this has got to be the 9th time that I've seen these guys fight on a Raw segmented part of the show. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You're not doing Elias any favors by putting him in the ring of fucking Trashly. Who gives a shit at this point? You're only putting these guys together because they're all part of the same, faction or the same team right now. So you're allotting these 4 guys in individual matches. But is that the best thing for them? Is this going to be the best decision for WWE? Instead of doing McIntyre, Lashley, and Corbin against Balor, Elias, or a Bray Wyatt, or getting Braun Strowman in there to make the big save. You know? I don't understand why WWE is not going that route. So it looks like we're getting Corbin and Strowman in some sort of portion of the show where it's going to be a continuation of whatever they got going on, even though he's had surgery. Now, the Wrestling Observer newsletter know that the TLC matches are the worst kind of matches for someone's elbow. After all, you have to constantly be catching ladders, chairs, and everything else with your arms, or else you will catch the object with your face. Therefore, many superstars go into TLC matches with their elbows doing just fine and exit with injuries. It is also noted that the idea that even if Strowman can't come back and wrestle a full match at TLC, he will be able to come in and hit a punishing running power slam on Baron Corbin to make sure that Corbin doesn't become the full-time Raw general manager, which is right now Corbin's intention. Since Baron keeps bragging about the match still being on and winning the position of authority figure by default, something obviously will be in the way to ruin his plans, and that's what I guess WWE did with the booking of this show. So it's all but confirmed that Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman will still be happening in some way, even though Strowman is not healthy enough to compete fully in a TLC match. Something will be happening that will get Baron Corbin out of the Raw GM position, and I honestly couldn't give a single fuck about what is going on with the Raw general manager position. Now, remember when I mentioned how Impact and WWE had some sort of working agreement that WWE, could really be all smiles about that, but Impact might not be, in the same boat fully. I mentioned on yesterday's show about LAX. WWE has eyes on Santana and Ortiz, their Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions for NXT. How LAX was supposed to be involved with Evolve in a match against the Street Profits. Impact Wrestling pulled them because reasons slighted that they didn't want their talent to lose to WWE talent, but it was more so of a case in which Impact knows that their contracts are up and they don't want them and how talented they are to be seen by WWE scouts to bring them on into NXT and offer them an exorbitant amount of money to come to NXT. That's probably why Impact pulled them. Because it makes no sense why you wouldn't want Impact, your tag team champions on a WWE, partnered show. I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense. But WWE UK stars are not banned from working Impact Wrestling. They could work where WWE allows them to work. WWE placed new restrictions on the United Kingdom talent recently, which means that although the talent would be getting paid more in line of a full-time WWE superstar, they are still handcuffed when it comes to taking indie bookings at this point. Now, we previously reported a list of promotions they are allowed to work for, but there are even limitations in those cases as well. WWE United Kingdom talents can only work for approved promotions if they're in dark matches, and only if a paramedic is present as well. They also can't work against any talent contracted by Ring of Honor or New Japan Pro Wrestling, but the Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that there is nothing saying they can't work against Impact Wrestling talent. This is a very interesting decision on WWE's part, but it might not make that big of a difference. After all, Impact, like I mentioned, pulled LAX, Santana, and Ortiz from their upcoming Evolve match against the NXT team, the Street Profits. Thinking on Impact's side, now, I mentioned what I thought it was. It could have been a couple of reasons. I more so think it was the first reason I gave you, the fact that they didn't want NXT talent or NXT scouts to see how good LAX are. They don't want them to just miraculously just go signing LAX knowing that their contracts are up. But Impact's opinion or stance on it is that they didn't want LAX to lose to a WWE team. They didn't want anything filmed where LAX talent or the Impact talent in form of LAX was losing on television. But at this time, WWE's UK talent are going to have to learn how to adapt. They're getting paid more money, so people should be happy for them. Still, other fans have called these superstars sellouts for following their dreams and allowing their careers to evolve. But if you're upset about the ban on those talents and who they can work with, it might be a little easier to take if you're also a fan of Impact Wrestling. Now, I think, the limitations don't bother me at all. You knew that I mentioned this on the NXT review. You knew this was coming. You knew this was coming. And good for those guys. Their dream is now achieved. And they're creating a legacy. They're doing exactly what you want them to do, but not in the fashion or the promotion you want them to do it in. Now they're a part of the WWE family. But who's to say they're sellouts? The people who call these superstars sellouts are fucking stupid. I don't know the right example for me to use, but when Greg Maddux left the Atlanta Braves and signed, I don't know who he signed with originally after the Braves. I don't know if he went back to the Cubs or he went to the Padres. I was still a fan of Greg Maddux. Tom Glavine with the Mets. Tom Glavine's been a fucking Brave his entire life. And then he's a free agent and he takes more money to go sign with the Mets. In some ways, you could consider that a sellout move. Because you went not only to a rival team in the same division, but you took more money to be disloyal to the fan base that you just had behind you all these years. In many cases, that's a sellout move. And that's what the majority of the fans thought. I was upset about that move, but I never shit on Tom Glavine's talents. I knew what Tom Glavine could have meant for that fucking team. I knew what the Mets were getting in Tom Glavine. They were getting a fucking multi-time Cy Young All-Star MLB player. Good for them. And I was always a fan of Tom Glavine and the way he performed. And I don't understand why fans here can't operate the same way with a Pete Dunne and a Tyler Bate and everybody else that's come over from the UK scene and now is performing under a WWE banner in NXT UK. You're getting to see the guys that you've loved and grown with on a bigger stage in NXT. They're going to be doing the same thing, only prettier. And it's not like you're not going to be able to see them mature and grow from here on out in the next chapters of their life. You have access to this. So I don't understand why people are calling them sellouts. Like, I don't understand that. What would you do if... What would you do if you're with a company for 10 years? Realistically, you got family to think about. You got, children and a wife. You got quality of life for yourself. You want better for yourself. You want to give yourself more. If you've been with a company for 10 years and you've been stuck, right, at a remedial job, not making enough money, not the money that you think you deserve, and you get offered a much higher management-like position somewhere else, and they woo you away, giving you benefits and all this other shit and a bigger spotlight to get your creativity across. You're not going to take it? For your family, for your kids, for yourself. You're not going to take it? How many years do you expect these guys to work in the independent scene? 10, 15 years without getting bored? People reach a point where they want to break through. There's only so much you can do. You reach a ceiling. That ceiling was met for a ton of these guys. A lot of these guys dreamt about being in the WWE, and if there's anybody that is going to nurture you and care about you, obviously showcased with NXT here in America, it's Triple H. NXT is overseen by Triple H. You know you're in good hands with Triple H. I don't understand the sellout remark here. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yes, WWE is having a global takeover of all markets because that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're doing it here in America by signing all the independent talent, and they want to stake claim in other portions of the globe. Performance centers here, performance centers there. NXT here, NXT there. They want to take over. Hence, takeover. They're taking over the wrestling world with NXT. It's not that hard to figure out. They're working with Impact Wrestling? Great. I don't know how that's going to benefit WWE, but they're at least allowing their talent to work and get paydays through other promotions because they know what they did by putting restrictions on their talent. I don't know what this is going to mean for Impact Wrestling. I doubt, the Impact has a TV deal. Even though it's with Pop TV, they still have a TV deal. WWE's not going to allow a Pete Dunne or Tyler Bate or a Wolfgang or the Coffey Brothers on Impact TV because they have a TV deal. Dark matches, yes. House shows, yes. But payday, yes. But TV, no. Storylines, no. You're not gonna see a Pete Dunne versus a Sami Callihan, if that's what you're thinking. Not gonna happen. So they're not banned from working Impact Wrestling, and WWE's putting certain limitations on where they can and cannot work. Simple as that. WWE actually signed Walter. I did not cover this because I wasn't too familiar with Walter. I seen his match with PCO at Joey Janela's spring break, and I seen the kind of work that he does, but apparently he is incredibly popular. So Dave Meltzer explained the trials WWE had to go through in the first place to even get Walter with the company. He mentioned this on Wrestling Observer Radio. He is an incredibly talented wrestler at 31 years old. He's got a lot of gas left in the tank. But the biggest issue with signing Walter had nothing to do with prying him away from his home country in Germany, which is apparently, right now, WWE has a great fondness for, and Walter has a great fondness for that too, and he doesn't want to change that. We knew Walter was going to come to the WWE, says Meltzer. It was just a question of when. Walter is a very interesting case because almost everyone, I'd say, I'm going to guess, but I would think that everyone on the NXT UK roster and everyone on the NXT roster, their goal is to get to the main roster and make big money. That is not Walter's goal in life. Walter could be on the main roster right now, on top, and he's turned them down because he's not interested. He wants to live in Germany, and he's not interested in going to Florida to go to NXT and the Performance Center. He doesn't mind trips to the United States, but doesn't want to live here, and he doesn't want to do long tours here. Come in for a weekend, that's cool. But he wants to live in Germany. He turned down New Japan. They wanted him. He doesn't want to do 3 weeks in Japan or anything like that. He wants to live in Germany. He has a lot of work in Germany. He was an employee of Wxw, helped run their school, and he was very happy with his life. The gist is that in WWE UK, and probably again, it's most likely there's going to be a German outlet, NXT Germany. And he'll be the guy there. But the UK, he was working in the UK anyway, so he's going to work based in the UK. The way I've heard it, months ago, when it was pretty clear that he was going to go, was that he agreed that he would go to, and he might come in for some weekends for NXT like he does already with some of the work he does here in the United States. Like, he might build some TVs and do a takeover, but he doesn't want to live here, and that's his thing. So that's his deal, and maybe more will come out as time goes on, end quote. It's an interesting note that Wxw is one of the few companies that NXT UK talents are allowed to continue to work for under some specific circumstances. Meltzer also noted that Walter is done with the indie wrestling commitments that he had at the end of 2018, so he's likely going to start with NXT UK in January. I'm assuming he's going to be at the NXT Takeover UK show on January 12th. So you got to respect Walter for not wanting to go to the main roster. He doesn't want to go to the United States. He doesn't want to go down to the PC. He doesn't want to be a full-time guy in America here with NXT. He wants to work out of Germany. He wants to do shit here, shit there. He wants to lend his talent, and he wants to be at home. He wants to live a comfortable life. That's what he found. You cannot sit here and not respect that decision. The man has found happiness from what the man has found happiness. And he doesn't want to change that. If he's happy and you want to use him, you abide by what he wants. This is his life. If you want him bad enough, then you're going to sit down and work out a deal with him to a point where you don't have to change his everyday life. You make him happy. Walter's happy. You get his talents. You're happy. Everybody's happy. That's the simplest fucking way to do it. Walter is not a guy that's going to transcend, into a major guy on the main. I don't think anybody right now is going to transcend into a major guy on the main roster, just based on the fucking dirty waters that are Raw and SmackDown Live right now. And I think everybody's starting to really come to that realization. Walter, who is Walter to the United States audience? If you're not a indie mark or a guy who is ingrained in what the independent scene is doing. So he's 31 years old. He's young, but he's getting up there as far as pro wrestling goes. Is he gonna make a big enough impact, get over to a point where, when it comes to a 33, 34-year-old guy coming to the main roster, is WWE going to utilize him the right way? Probably not. He's making his money. He's happy doing what he's doing. He's happy working the scarce schedule that he's working, showing up here, working up there, showing up there, working NXT UK, working NXT for a big takeover match in the States here, go back to Germany, live his life, do his work, be with his family. There's nothing wrong with that. You gotta abide by what these guys want. You just can't solely own them. They have life outside of pro wrestling. And that's exactly what I read here. That's my interpretation of it with Walter. Great. I can't wait to see what he does in the WWE ring. Can't wait to see the impact he makes and how he's well received at TakeOver when he does debut. Can't wait to see it. It's going to be good. Finally, guys, we're going to end with this. Nikki Cross, main roster status. Where is Nikki Cross? Nikki Cross is known as the NXT Twisted Sister. She's one of the top names fans talk about when discussing who should get called up to the main roster. Cross even answered Becky Lynch's open challenge in Manchester, which popped the crowd in England huge. But then she wasn't seen on SmackDown Live at all after that. It was noted on PW Insider that Cross hasn't been moved to the main roster at this time, but on that note, she also wasn't used during the latest set of NXT TV tapings as well, which will set up the first leg of the NXT Takeover Phoenix show. Her name is still being featured on WWE's website as an NXT superstar, even though WWE's own social media touted her SmackDown Live Open Challenge as her main roster debut. This could be an instance of Vince McMahon just figuring that fans have a memory of a goldfish, and it doesn't look like Nikki Cross will stick around. But if I was sitting here, it's without question Nikki Cross is going to find herself on the main roster eventually. Do I have an interest in seeing her immediately now? No. I don't think anybody right now would have an interest in seeing Nikki Cross on the main roster, just seeing how right now, where is she going to fit in? It's all about Becky, it's all about Ronda, and it's all about Charlotte. That's all it's about right now. So Nikki Cross probably is better off just staying in NXT where it's calm, where it's simple, and she's not going to get lost in the shuffle. She could still be a great lending hand, more so down in NXT than on the main roster. I don't think the main roster knows at all what to do with someone like Nikki Cross. Look at Sanity. That's all I have to tell you. Look at what they've done with Sanity, mainly Killian Dane. But you expect them to book Nikki Cross, who is very similar in attitude and character portrayal as the Guy's Insanity. Not going to happen. Keep her in NXT. She will be somewhere, and her talents will be used, but it's at a point right now where we don't need Nikki Cross on the main roster. And I don't think you want to see Nikki Cross on the main roster right now at this moment either. I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so very much for everything this weekend. I am sitting here with another hour of content, man. Hour goes by, and that is the wrap on this weekend's Off the Script. If you guys want to follow me on social media, at JD from NY206, hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And Patreon, if you guys want to support the podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206, man. Barbershopwindow.com/off-the-script code BSHOP10 for 10% off your first initial purchase, or any purchase for that matter. You guys can save 10% off on every purchase you guys want on Barbershop Window. Harrys.com/script for your free trial shave set. Audibletrial.com/off-the-script for 1 month free and one free audiobook of your choice. And if you guys want the Bullet Club Design JD Club t-shirt Holiday 2018 campaign, man, you guys can go to bonfire.com down below in the comment sections. It is pinned at the very top. Go get your t-shirt today. 7 days only to get this limited edition design. Thank you guys so very much, man. I will be back with a brand new week of content right here on the channel for you guys. This has been 250 episodes of Off the Script. I'm looking forward to another 250 more. Where will the 250 following episodes lead us? I don't know, man. But I have high hopes, and I have great aspirations that we are going to be one of the primary sources for wrestling podcasts, not only in this community, but here in the United States, man. I firmly believe I will be where I want to be when all is said and done. And thank you guys for 250 episodes. I'm getting out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow with more content to start your new weeks. And then, God knows what Monday Night Raw is going to bring us. It can't get any worse, can it? But according to Xavier Woods, there's nothing to complain about. What a fucking idiot, man. I'll see you guys on Raw.